I'm never grateful for the grief of the alopecia, but I am really grateful for the lessons, because I know that we wouldn't be who we are today. We wouldn't have gone on our trip. We wouldn't have changed our lives and our perspectives and renewed our perspective, and I wouldn't have this.
Hello and welcome to Separate Bathrooms. My name's Caravan.
And I'm Daddo. We are here recording on Gadigal land of the Eora Nation. We have two really interesting, we're not a couple, we have a couple, two interesting individuals coming into the bathroom today.
Jess and Leon Tsigros are coming in. Jess has written a book called We Live in a Caravan. Do you reckon we could do what they did? They basically packed up their young family and went around Australia for an extended period of time. Would you like to do something like that, honey?
Like now, at our age now?
Definitely at our age.
Or would I have liked to have done it when the kids were younger?
Both, okay.
Look, I actually would have loved to have done it when the kids were younger and given them that experience. I think that would be magical. In the book, We Live in a Caravan, it's the picture book for every Australian family to inspire travel and an appreciation for experiences over possessions, which is such a lovely thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think that the more we understand that it's our experiences that we take with us, not our possessions. So I'm really excited to hear all about that and how the travelling went.
Yes, and see what if there are any pet peeves or anything like that came up, because a caravan's quite a small space to inhabit over an extended period of time. Plus, you're picking up and in putting down roots, you're picking up again. How does all that go? Because I know a lot of us like to be comfortable and sort of sit for a bit, and then and that's hard to uproot again. So it's really leading that nomadic lifestyle. And
which is why I think I would do better when the kids were younger, because that was when it was like right now, at 52, I'm like, no.
No?
No, I need my space. Yep, no, definitely not.
What are you saying? I'd have to get a swag or something like that and sleep outside.
We might need two caravans. Actually is what we might need. And you go one way for a month and I go the other way for a month, and then we get back together again.
Oh, what a great way to start this podcast. She's already leaving me for a month.
No, but that's the adventure, right?
Oh, is it? Isn't that, in my experience with travelling, I actually don't enjoy the travelling by myself nearly as much as when I'm with you, to have it to share something with, right? When I'm on my own and doing luxury escapes and going off around the world, yes, it looks great on Instagram and it's really fun and it's work. Yet if I don't have someone to share it with and go, how good is that? This is great. It's literally a quarter, I reckon. I'll quantify it. It's about 25% of the experience, I reckon.
Yeah. It's just, it would be a lot.
Yep. So if you bail out on me for a month in a caravan,
9 months with you.
It's like, because
it would be a Dutch oven and I just couldn't handle it.
Not much. I figured out what I can eat and what I can't eat. And when if I want a toot, I'm going to go, yes, I just eat this. When I don't want a toot, I don't eat that.
All right, let's get on to Jess and Leon. I think they're waiting outside the bathroom door, eagerly to come and chat with us. Let's welcome them in, Jess and Leon.
Jess and Leon, thanks for joining us today in the bathroom. Let's begin at the beginning. It's a very good place to start. How did you two meet? Was it love at first sight? What's your story, Morning Glories?
Oh, you want me to go? Okay, so Leon was best friends with my next door neighbour. So I actually grew up with my next door neighbour as, very young girl, and then ended up turning about 15 and started having an interest in boys, and that's when I noticed Leon over there so often. And then the rest was history. We just became best friends.
Went to school together?
Yeah, we ended up going to school together. I ended up changing schools because I was a bit obsessed with Leon and I needed to spend even more time with him. And then we just kind of, we grew up together. We moved out really young.
18.
We moved out at 18. And that was our first move. And I think since then we've moved about 6 times in and out of different properties that we've built, and we've we've renovated, and then of course the caravan, and we got married in 2014, and we've been married 8 years now with our two beautiful girls.
Amazing. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's the true young love that's just carried you all the way through.
It is.
It is.
Oh, that's so gorgeous.
Hey, Jess, did your mum and dad know that you wanted to shift schools so you could be near Leon? Did they know that was the reason?
You know what? They didn't have a choice. I was so headstrong and such a pain that my sister reminded me the other day that I even said, I'm not going to school if I don't change to Leon's school. So I don't think I gave them much choice.
Is she still headstrong, Leon?
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Nothing's changed.
I've gotten better, I must say.
Oh, really? Okay,
I've gotten better, I think. I've softened up a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I keep getting more headstrong as I get older.
Are you a Taurus by any chance?
No, I'm a Pisces.
Oh, so am I.
So is you. Okay,
There you go.
this is where I have to reveal something to you, Caravan-Daddo.
Yeah.
Jess, can you tell us who your favourite AFL football team is?
Essendon.
Gadigal Bombers!
Yes! A fellow bomber. Oh, you don't want to ask Leon?
I know.
Well, not Collingwood.
Yeah.
The arch rivals. The arch rivals.
Especially after Sunday.
Oh
my
my God. I stalked
gracious.
you, Jess, on your Instagram, and I saw a really gorgeous picture of you all at the footy. And your littlest daughter had the Bombers hat on that you had when you were little.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw
Yes.
that, I'm like, Cameron is done. Like, that's it. You will be the favourite person on the podcast.
Yes.
Love it.
You two made a decision to do something, and gosh, if I had $1 for every time a family said, I want to go traveling around Australia in a caravan, I'd be a wealthy woman. But you guys actually did it. You packed up your life and you got into a 19-foot caravan. Was it just your firstborn at that time, just the three of you when you did it, or
No,
just
it was
the two of you?
four of us.
The four of us.
It was the four of you.
Yeah.
And the girls were only 2
Amazing.
and 4 when we left.
Talk us through it. What led to that decision?
Oh gosh, so it all kind of happened really organically. I would never have thought that I would be traveling Australia in a caravan in my wildest dreams if you had have told me that, a few years ago. It was just never something that we dreamed about day in, day out. We didn't have a plan to do it. It just really did all happen, I guess, the way that it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
So basically in our early 20s, we built a big, beautiful house with all the bells and whistles, and it was way too big for us, and the mortgage was way too high, and we were really struggling to pay it back and do the things that we wanted to do with our lives, and it just really felt pointless. All of our money and all of our time was going into just this house.
Paying it off, yeah.
And then Leon simultaneously went through a very traumatic illness, and he lost all of his hair. He suffered from alopecia. And as a result of alopecia and the psychological effects that had on him, he really struggled with his mental health, and that had a huge effect on us individually and as a couple and as a family. And that's when we decided that something had to change. And the biggest, I guess, the catalyst was the house. And as soon as that was gone, we just felt so much more free. And we downsized, and we got a house that was half the size and half the mortgage. And then that's when we bought our caravan as well with the spare money that we had. And then we started traveling.
And we
because
fell in love with it.
we didn't have to work as much. So
Great.
every weekend we were just jumping in the caravan and just going down the coast, spending more time as a family, less time at work. And Leon started healing. So it was really just this huge transformation that changed, that one decision that changed everything. And then COVID happened.
Amazing.
And Leon was made redundant. And we decided to take the opportunity to have a break and travel full time. And that's when we packed the house and moved into the caravan full time and took off on our journey. So it kind of feels like we've had, 3 different lives. It was like, who we were when we were 20 before alopecia, and then our trip, and then after our trip.
Yeah.
And with the trip, did you have a plan, or was it just like, let's load up the caravan and head right?
No, we
And go
had a
along the
plan.
coast that way.
That was my job. So I basically organised the whole trip. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. And yeah, we just like once I knew I was made redundant, I sort of stepped into another job just locally while we were planning to, because it's not something that you can just click your fingers and then away you go. There's a lot to organise.
Okay.
We have to rent it out. We have to rent our house out, just change our addresses, etc., etc. Get the van, the car ready. And once all that was done, it was probably a 3-month process. And then we decided to leave mid-January.
No, it was December.
No. We decided to leave mid-January, but
we
then
ended up
COVID sort of spiked, and we thought Victoria was going to be locked down. So New Year's Eve, we were getting all these text messages from our friends. Our caravan was already packed, and everyone was telling us, "You need to get out, you need to go." And then literally, we just took off New Year's Eve.
And before you knew it, we were in South Australia. And the trip had begun.
Wow. So, Leon, for you, did you have to figure out where all the caravan parks were along the way and the distances so you knew all of that kind of stuff? That's actually a lot to do. That's a lot of navigating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to take into consideration how much fuel, are you going to make it to the next fuel station?
Right.
Yeah, right.
How much water you've got.
How much water you've got. Are you going to be free camping? There's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience. I think a lot of people think that it's a big holiday, and it's I think
it is.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful, fun, and eye-opening experience. But there are moments where it can be tough, especially spending so much time together. It's kind of unnatural to be with your partner day in, day out, and your children, and not having a babysitter or a break. And then when you do want to kind of have time apart, I'm in the bedroom, which is also the lounge and the kitchen.
Yes. A very small box that you're all trapped in a lot of ways.
Yeah. You do get used to it.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Did you have to buy a new car when you bought the caravan? Did you have to buy like a nice 4-wheel drive, Leon? Did you? I'm hoping that you bought something real tough.
Yeah, we did. We bought a Ford Ranger.
Well done.
Yeah, and it didn't, honestly, we didn't even get one flat tire on our trip. We had no issues. We did get a flat battery. That was the only issue we had on the trip.
So I'm going to ask 2 questions, of course. Your absolute favourite thing and place you went to, and what was the worst part of it as well? Maybe you just already shared that, Jess, having nowhere to go. But
what nowhere to go in the van to be alone? To
be alone, that would be hard for me.
We often joke and say that the best part of the experience is being together as a family 24/7, and the worst part of the experience is being together 24/7 as a family.
I totally get that. I totally get that.
But in terms
Did you have a swag? Did you have a swag so you could actually spend a night? I would have done that, I reckon.
We actually did. We actually did. We bought one when we were in Western Australia.
That was when Leon was naughty.
I had to sleep outside.
No, we did. We bought that to do a bit of a camping trip. Over Mother's Day, we slept under the stars at the steepest.
No, the most westerly point of mainland Australia, which is called Steep Point.
Ah, beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you take your your clothes off and go swimming naked out there as well? I did that on the most eastern point of Australia, and Alison nicked my clothes and made me walk up the beach and up the cliff naked.
Oh, that is the best.
I love that. This story is getting ridiculously long. Yes, I stole his clothes. He did not have to walk up a cliff naked.
I did.
You did not walk
Add
up
some sauce.
I chose to do that.
I
tried to give you back your clothes. You're like, is this me naked?
You know what?
If we would have done that, we would have got eaten by sharks because it was infested.
Was it really? You could see it from the beach?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I caught a massive shark off the cliff that we've got photos of and videos.
You couldn't even bring them up. They were that big.
They were huge.
Yeah.
Jess, you started to say your favourite place and then
in terms of location, my favourite place was in Western Australia. I'm a water baby, so I love the beach. So I'm always going to gravitate towards a nice white, sandy, blue haven paradise. And that was Esperance for me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How about you, Leon?
I liked the Kimberleys. Just the landscape, the mountains, the red rock, the red sand. It was just unbelievable. Like, I've been to Europe, I've been to America, and it's just, you cannot compare Australia and the different landscapes. You could drive 100 kilometers one way and it would be completely different, and then you go the other way and it's like you feel like you're in a different country.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
You covered some territory, didn't you? You're down in South Australia, all the way up to the Kimberley. Did you actually do the whole of Australia? Did you go round the
No,
whole
we
thing?
didn't do a full lap. We did a 3/4 kind of lap. We've actually saved part of it for our next trip, so we're going to go again. And hopefully from February next year, we will do the parts that we missed. COVID kind of all happened, and then we cut through the middle and came back. And there was also a few things that we wanted to do in terms of coming home and find a new place to live while we're away. We sold our place to our tenants, which kind of all happened organically as well. That was never on the cards, never planned for. And yeah, Leon was kind of in a place where he needed a break as well. And, it's very hard to access, those services that you need when you're away. It does make it challenging to invest in your well-being because you don't have an abundance of services around you and your support network. So there was an element of that as well. It was kind of it was a bit strange because we left to fill our cup and improve our well-being, and we did that on so many levels, and we learnt so much and benefited so much, and so did our kids. But then on the other hand, we did really miss a lot of the luxuries that we have at home, that we actually need as well to satisfy, our and to fill our cup. Yeah. So,
what was really interesting is that we met a lot of families on the road that we still talk to, that we've probably got friends for life. A lot of those families were feeling that at that stage of the trip as well, towards the end of the trip, because it just becomes a little bit repetitive. The pack-ups, the setups.
Yeah, I can imagine. And emptying the toilet. Is that your job, Leon?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
I would film him. I would just film him while I was gagging in the background laughing. And then I'd send it to everybody.
Can I ask you, what would be your one tip for families wanting to do this?
I would say that you need to just do it. I think a lot of people will say, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it. There's a big difference to wanting to do it and actually doing it and taking action. And sometimes you need to prioritize it. It needs to be the number one thing that you want to do, because it does take a lot of consideration, taking the kids out of school and renting a house out or selling a property. It often takes a really big change to be able to do it and to be able to afford it for the average person. And I think a lot of people are afraid of making that change. And they, if you're not prepared to make that change, then it really means that you're not prioritizing the trip as your number one priority. And until you do that, I don't really think that a lot of people are going to be able to do it. It takes a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
What would you say, Leon?
I would say, obviously, you want to have a good car. That can be a trip ending, I guess, something that can happen potentially if you break down. Also, have a plan. Like, don't just pick when you want to leave. Look at the weathers, the seasons, when's the best time to go to a certain area, because that's the difference between actually seeing it at its most beautiful time, or as you could be getting flooded out where you can't go down certain roads to get to certain attractions or centers. So I would say have a plan, do your research, and then just go from there.
Yeah, you definitely need to know what you're doing, I think.
Really good tips, actually. Leon, you were diagnosed with alopecia, as Jess had said, which is an autoimmune disease that causes your hair to fall out. That's the physical component, obviously. Can you take us through the emotional and mental side of what you felt, what that meant to you? I know that it can be something that is far too easily dismissed without really truly understanding the devastating mental effects that it can cause people.
So the hard thing for me was I was young at the time. I was in like the prime of when I was going out with my friends and nightclubs, etc. And I didn't have the support, and I think people underestimate how it can make someone feel by losing your hair.
Yeah.
People just think, oh, like people would say to me, oh, what are you worried about? It's just hair. But it's not just hair. It's like, it's who you are. It's, you look at yourself in the mirror. Like, it took me a long time to be able to look at myself in the mirror and actually, accept me for me, because I would always think that I don't want to be this person. I don't want to look this way.
And there's no sense of control.
And no one gives you that. No one gives you that compassion. No one shows you that compassion and allows you to sort of feel the way you do over something that is so small, but it's really not. It's a big thing. I felt like the person that I was before, and this is exactly how I felt. I felt like that person had died, and that I was born again as a new person, and I had to sort of learn about myself again and be comfortable with who I am.
So was part of the mental challenges the fact the way people responded to you? Was that part of the pain of it? I would imagine, because it's sort of like if you have cancer, then people are very empathetic, and there's charities for it, and there's fun runs, but this idea that it's just your hair, I would imagine that would feel so dismissive of how you are really feeling, and that in itself can be so devastating.
Yeah, and that's what was really hard, because like what you said, when someone has cancer, you automatically feel sorry for them, right? But if someone's losing their hair and then they say to you that, oh, like, what are you worried about? It's just hair. Then it makes you feel like what you're feeling is invalid. And then you just second guess yourself. You're like, why do I feel this way? There's other people that have got it worse off than me. So yeah, that was a big part of it.
Can I ask you, how did the alopecia affect your relationship?
Oh, so many ways.
I was a very angry person, and that I actually didn't notice that until probably maybe even when we got back. There we still had our issues. I still had my issues. But I think lately, maybe the last 6 months, I've noticed a change in our relationship where that anger has sort of gone away.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, yeah, I started taking some medication, something that I never ever wanted to do. And anyone who knows me and has been there for like throughout the whole journey can remember me saying that I will never ever take medication. I will never ever take medication. But yeah, it just got to a point where it was like, I'm either going to potentially lose my family if I don't make any changes in my life. And that was the last resort for me. And Jess even understands how much of a big step that was for me to actually accept that and to go and do it. But I'm so grateful for it, because it's changed my life completely.
And Jess, that must have been a challenge. You're not only watching your beloved husband go through mental challenges, but you've got the backbone. You've got 2 kids, and you're supporting him as well. Did you have support for yourself as well?
Yeah, not in the beginning. I always gave all of my energy and time and support to Leon, because I always felt like he needed it, and I was, my role was the support person. But nowadays I see how there were flaws in the way that I did things for myself and for Leon, because by not acknowledging my own grief and my own pain, that I wasn't actually able to be the best version of myself to Leon. So yeah, I've kind of over the years learned how to be a little bit more selfish in a way, to prioritize my own mental health so that I can actually give back more, and less, have less resentment and less frustration within my own spirit as well. So yeah, it was a tough, it was a very big journey, very big learning curve for us. We evolved a lot as people when everything kind of blew up in our faces when we were young, in our early 20s. I didn't even know what anxiety was, and I thought, suicide was selfish and depression was self-inflicted. I had no idea what mental illness was. I was so green and I had these rose-colored glasses on, and then it happened to us. And that's when we kind of went, whoa, so this is what this is.
This is
and
real.
This is how that feels. And we, we were dedicated to sharing our story, and I healed a lot through being able to write and share, and a lot of people were really open to hearing our story, and then also volunteered theirs, and we ended up creating a nice community of people who were able to share what they had been through and their triumphs. And then it was the alopecia. I would never I'm never grateful for the grief of the alopecia, but I am really grateful for the lessons, because I know that we wouldn't be who we are today. We wouldn't have gone on our trip. We wouldn't have changed our lives and our perspectives and renewed our perspective, and I wouldn't have this. So this is it's all kind of amounted to something beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll talk. We want to talk about the book. You just said something really interesting, that it can't happen to us. We often stumble our way through life thinking that we're looking at other people going through trauma, and having experiences happen, and I'm going to say happen to them, but clearly this is you've turned this into it's happened for you. What would you say to people that who are going, I can't believe this has happened to us? What would you say to those people?
Oh gosh, it's such a hard one.
I would say, like, just honestly, just go and get the help as soon as you can. Don't be stubborn, and don't think to yourself that it's going to pass. It's going to pass, because it's only going to get worse, and you can only develop more and more issues down the track. Like for example, for me, I've struggled with OCD now because I left it for so many years. And now it's just the way that my mind deals with situations, and it just flares up from time to time. Whereas if you go and get the help early, you go and speak to someone,
have a better chance.
You've got a better chance of it's probably something that you'll struggle with for the rest of your life. Who knows? But at least you'll learn the tools to be able to deal with it and understand what you're feeling and why you're feeling that way, and you won't think that you're crazy.
That's really good advice.
It's it's interesting, isn't it? You don't hear much that when you go to get help, things get worse.
That's right.
When you have to go through that process where things do get worse before they get better. That we have to learn how to hold our darkness and become friends with it, and then you can transform it. Would you agree with that?
My advice would be, for what worked for me, was to keep a journal and to write down my feelings, and that's how I processed that's how I actually learnt how to label what I was feeling, and that was through writing. So for me, I think journaling is really important, and it does have some really big benefits mentally, emotionally, and then obviously physically as well, because it'll we light up fully when we are looking after all of those aspects of our lives.
Leon, you're the one who's going through the situation here. What words or responses would help you or people in your similar circumstances? Like you mentioned before, someone saying, "Oh, it's just hair." I mean, that must have just felt just so deflating when you heard someone say, "Dude, it's just hair, get over it," What words would you like to hear?
It's okay.
It sucks.
It sucks. Like, don't try and hide away from it. Just call it for what it is and say, you know what, it's a pretty shitty situation.
Yeah.
And you know what, you have every right to feel the way you do, and that's okay. Or, we're here for you. If you ever need someone to talk to, by all means, just give me a call. I was very fortunate. I was very, very fortunate to have Jess, because I don't know where I would have ended up if it wasn't for her. And that's really sad for a lot of people who don't have that person.
Yeah, of course.
How does that feel when he says that?
Now I'm going to get emotional. It's a scary thought, but it is a reality. It makes me feel grateful that I was able to support him. I'm proud of us, and I'm proud of Leon. He whilst I was there supporting him, Leon wanted the support, and Leon was open to the support, and he acknowledged his pain, and he took action. So it's one thing supporting somebody, but the other person really needs to
want to change.
Want to change and grow and listen. And fortunately, Leon was that way. So he did a lot of the work himself. I was just, behind the scenes, putting his chin up when he needed it. And he got there, made amazing progress.
Yeah, well done,
Thank
you
you.
two. It's such you guys have got such a beautiful love story. Just to think that you were, it's such young love and have already dealt with so much and given yourself this amazing adventure with your caravan, which brings us to this fabulous book that you wrote.
Yes.
It's called We Live in a Caravan, and it says the book is written through the heart of a child and offers thought-provoking inspiration for all ages. So you actually self-published it, Jess, and then a publisher came and picked it up and they've taken it on. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. Yes, I was very lucky.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And it was just all a very, it's kind of like a big manifestation, I guess. And it just felt really right for me to do this while I was traveling. And I had the time and the space, and I was deeply inspired by everybody that we met in Australia. And I spent so much time in nature, and I think all of that kind of helped me be able to think so freely and openly.
Yeah.
But the book is actually based on the heart and soul of the book is not really so much about the places that you go. It's more about the why. It's living congruently with who you are and having a sense of freedom and searching for that freedom within yourself and in your environment. And it's about treasuring experiences rather than possessions, because that's where we came from. And that's what the book means to me personally.
That's gorgeous.
Did I read that some of the illustrations were from other kids that you met or on the way?
Yeah, so I asked a bunch of little travel buddies that I met along the way to do some pictures for me, because it was a really big part of the experience, connecting with other families and, not just the adults, the kids as well. And they all did a little drawing for me, and then I ended up putting that inside the book with their name as well, which was, really, really nice touch, I think.
You've got the East Coast of Australia to do, so does this mean we get a second book?
You will get a second book, but I don't know if it'll be about travel. I am working.
Okay.
I'm working on a few things, more kind of geared towards the positive psychology and empowering our little minds. So I think you will see more from me, but a bit of a different perspective.
Leon, are you back working again now?
Yeah, so I'm back working again, and I've actually recently started my own business, weighing caravans. So I provide a mobile weighing service where I ensure that people are safe and compliant with their setups. And again, that came from the trip. So it's all just happened organically. It's something that we spoke about while we were away, and then one day I just woke up and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And it's going well.
As you were talking about, everything you figured out, and I'm like, this guy's really smart, clearly.
Yeah.
I was like, you need to be like the guide that helps other people do the traveling. So there you are, you're doing it. That's wonderful.
And
congratulations.
Thank you. I love it, because it's not just, for me, it's not just helping people understand their requirements, their limits. It's about giving them advice about their trips and, make sure you do this or go here or do that. And they appreciate it so much, and it just gives me so much joy that I can pass on that knowledge to someone that's going to make their trip so much better.
We do a thing here called the 2-minute shower. So we like you'll be into this. It's water conservation, So it's a short shower. So short answers basically. Both please answer the question.
Okay.
Here we go. Question number 1. Your favorite moment together.
My wedding.
Oh wait, I don't mean the wedding.
You're allowed to have the same answers. That's okay. Okay, perfect. What do you miss about each other when you're not together?
When Jess isn't there, I'm not as happy. She needs to for her to be there. She just brightens up my life, basically.
I don't have anyone to fix anything, and I break a lot of things.
I hear that.
What's a way to show each other kindness?
Scratching Jess's back.
Yeah. And turning the lights off when I leave a room.
So good. All right, who's the best joke teller?
Me.
Oh, yeah, Jess, for sure. Yeah. 100%.
Biggest pet peeve?
Oh,
Leon's farting.
Oh, God,
honestly,
Jess.
I've got so many.
Oh.
I can't
What,
list them
so many
all.
farts or so many pet peeves?
No.
Yes. They've got different sounds as well.
Yeah.
I never know what I'm going to get.
The clothes on the floor, the
Yeah,
lights
see, farts
on
are funny,
all the
though.
time.
Farts are not funny when they smell.
Parts are not funny.
They aren't
Me
funny.
and
That's
Jess
why you should
agree.
stop.
Look, Cameron's laughing
They are
now. Like,
funny.
that's the thing. Like, you mentioned the word fart and, like, it sends him into conniptions. All right.
It's always been the way.
Last question. What's one word to describe each other?
Just caring for Jess.
You are thorough.
Mm,
You're very thorough with everything that you do.
beautiful.
Love it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Jess's book is We Live in a Caravan. Leon, if you want to get in touch with him, will weigh your caravan.
And give lots of good advice.
That's
yeah,
right.
safe to tow. Give us a call anytime.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
We'll put your business in the show notes.
Thank you.
If anyone wanted to. It's a caravan society at the moment, isn't it? It's
It
like
is.
a boon because of COVID. So yeah, you're gonna be in hot demand.
Thank you so much, guys, for your time.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much,
Thanks,
guys.
Leon.
Appreciate it.
You never know how the lives of people, can affect them. Just talking to Leon then and, suffering through alopecia and how that mentally took a toll on him. And,
Yep.
just those simple words of, yeah, you're right. I understand how devastating you must feel and I'm here for you. Just those simple words of acceptance and support. Just a little thing, but can make the world of difference to someone. You never know.
Well, yeah, exactly. You never know what people are going through.
Yeah.
And to someone, whatever, might not be much, but to another person, it's a tidal wave.
Yeah, that's right.
Tsunami of crap they're going through. And so I think it comes to me that the idea that trauma, you can't compare trauma, someone else's trauma, to
No,
another person's because it's
absolutely.
always individual and how they see it, and that there is no quick fix. And just like you say, it's nice to just acknowledge and be acknowledged and go, okay, yeah, I hear you. I get it. Maybe I don't get it. Help me understand it. Talk to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm actually really excited to look at Jess's book. I think I need to get it for our school library because even though it's a kid's book, I want to read it now. They've had some mighty fine experiences. So it's really interesting talking to them.
And I love that they included other kids in it.
So
Getting their
cute.
pictures, and so you've got this other kid. You never know what their sort of interpretation of Esperance or
Yeah, that's
up in the
right.
Kimberley, like they were up in the Kimberley doing.
Yeah, it's a lovely idea.
What does that look like? It's really
Lovely
good.
idea.
Thank you for being with us today on Separate Bathrooms.
Indeed.
Great chat with Leon and Jess. We'll have the book in the show notes as well as how to contact Jess, because her journaling is really lovely as well. That's on her website, which we will include.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Leon's info if you're planning on a caravan trip. I want to go now. Now I want to go.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot for listening.
Hey, before you turn off, rate and review us. Let's spread the word. Separate Bathrooms.